Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Conversations with the Empress. I am the Empress. And as you can tell by my barely there attire, it's Freaky Friday, y'all. The day we've all been waiting for. At least I have. And you know I love a Freaky Friday. Before we get started, you guys know the drill. Please go hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons below. They all help my channel to grow, and I really appreciate the support. So do your girl a favor. Go hit that like button right about now. Thank you. So the fit for tonight is just something that I found in my closet. I'm actually running out of outfits to wear for you guys. So lingerie shopping is definitely coming up. And I had a wardrobe malfunction during the photo part of this, and I had to rig it. Y'all just can't see the rig, but I said, oh, my fans probably would have loved this wardrobe malfunction, but no. Can't be having no wardrobe malfunctions. Can't be having no nip slips. Bad for business. At least this business. But today's subject is self-pleasure. It's the easiest way, cleanest way for me to say masturbation. You guys hear me talk a lot about toys and how to get off and what gets me off and all these different things, but I never really did a show about why I feel self-pleasure is so important. I don't feel like it's just important for women either. It's also important for men, but this is more directed towards my women out there. Because a lot of times we're taught to deny our sexuality as women, and so exploring ourselves is a part of that denial. But it is the key to sexual liberation, is exploring yourself. Across the board, men, women, whatever you identify as, sexual exploration of self is very important. The first reason why it's important is because it's about knowing yourself. Knowing your body is just as important as knowing your mind. You know, it's all integral. It's all part of who we are. Without knowing your sexual side, you are not knowing a whole part of yourself. And that part works in part with the other parts of self. And so if you don't know, you're not getting a complete picture of self and a complete feel for self. The other reason why masturbation is important is because it teaches you what you like and what you don't like. And it does it in a way where you don't have to worry about, oh, do I trust this person to explore with this person? You know, being that you're doing it with yourself, you can take it as far or as slow as you would like to go. And it's kind of your business, okay? Nobody's going to be like, oh, what did you do to yourself last night? Like, nobody's going to ask you that. You know, it's something that can't nobody take away from you, is what you learn about yourself and what you experience within yourself by yourself. And to take this even further beyond self-sexual exploration in life, a lot of the things that you learn are by yourself, okay? Sex is no different. I feel that me being so explorative on my own is what led me to exploring outside of myself. Had I had not explored first myself, I would have never ventured into BDSM and, you know, other interactions with other kinky people and going to BDSM clubs. Like, I would have never even gotten to that place had I had not explored myself. Another plus to self-exploration, masturbation, is the fact that the limits are endless. I mean, there are no limits. You're only dealing with yourself, and whatever you imagine, you can create. There's nobody that's going to be like, oh, no, we can't do this. No, we can't do that. You know, it's all about you figuring it out yourself and figuring out what your limits are, what you like, what you don't like, how far you can go, how far you can't go. And you know, that's not to say that if you had somebody you trusted, you could go further, but it still starts with you. And masturbation isn't just about knowing what you like sexually and what gets you off. It's also about knowing your anatomy, okay? Like, you have to know what your private parts look like, what's normal, what's not normal, what smells normal, what doesn't smell normal. All those things fall in line with that. Another plus to masturbation is that it's a stress reliever. It relaxes you. It can help you deal with anxiety, and it's a much healthier option than the bottle, drugs. Masturbation could be a very spiritual thing within yourself. It can also be a thing to just center you and clear your mind of things. There have been plenty of times where I've had a stressful day and, I've tried to smoke some herb or have a drink and it just really didn't hit the spot, but I handled my business and I felt 10 times better. Very good for chemically, get those endorphins going, and it's just overall makes your mood better. Okay, masturbating just makes you feel better. Like, it's not just a physical thing, it's an overall well-being type of thing. Masturbation also is a great sleep aid. Okay, how many of y'all fellas out there have to rub one out before y'all go to sleep? I've met plenty of guys who said that that's the way that they fall asleep every night, is that they have to rub one out before they go to sleep or they can't sleep. So obviously it must be better than melatonin if people are swearing by doing that to get sleep. And I mean, I have to be honest, like, there's been plenty of nights when I couldn't sleep, tossing and turning, and I wake up in the middle of the night and I just be like, you know what, let me just handle this really quick. And after I handle it, I go right to sleep. So, I'm a witness for that. You don't need melatonin, you just need to bust a nut, okay? Another positive about masturbation is that it builds your self-confidence, it builds your self-esteem and your overall positivity about your body image. I really don't know why or how it does that, but it definitely does. I've never been lacking in self-confidence thanks to having great parents. However, I will say that my sexual exploration within myself and the things that I know sexually about myself definitely make me more confident within myself. Also, the fact that I can say the things that I like and who I am. And, we as people sleep on, self-exploration and exploring our sexuality, but it really could make the difference in you being a whole person and you not being a whole person. It's really important. It's not just this dirty taboo thing that, people talk about. It's actually good for you, which is like a lot of the things that are taboo and people don't talk about it. Even when your kids start exploring themselves, how many parents have mortified their children behind their kids masturbating? Honestly, masturbating is a natural part of life. It's a natural part of progressing and growing. Kids even know, what is this down here? What is it? When I touch it, it feels good, and they explore it. At some point we lose that, or our initial reaction from parents is a negative one as far as masturbating is concerned, and that forms how we look at exploring ourselves sexually. I do know a couple parents who did not react in a bad way to their kids masturbating because they knew that. But if you do something and the reaction you get the first time you do it is a negative one, that sets the tone for how you look at that said thing. So, parents out here, be really careful about how you deal with your kids when they start exploring themselves sexually. And keep in mind that it's a natural thing. I can't tell you how to deal with it because I ain't got kids. What I do know is reacting in a negative way is not the way to go if you want to have an open communication with your kid, and if you want your kid to not be ashamed of their bodies and the things that their bodies can do. Sorry, I keep adjusting my boobies because my malfunction. Me personally, I can say that masturbation has helped me greatly, and mostly in my older age, because I used to be the type of person that was very free sexually, share my body freely and stuff. But as I'm getting older, I really don't like doing that. I prefer to have a connection And so I haven't been having sex. But I have been masturbating like crazy. Okay. And it helps to curb my appetite for sex because I'm a very sexual person. I love to have sex, but I don't want to have sex with anybody and everybody. So masturbating has definitely helped me to deal with them times of abstinence. And it's also like masturbation is super safe. You don't have to worry about catching an STD from masturbating. You don't have to worry about getting pregnant from masturbating. I really don't see any negatives to it if you're doing it in a responsible way. Like, I don't think that you should just walk around this earth rubbing yourself everywhere you go because you can get arrested for that. But in the comfort of your own home or a private area or even in an exhibitionist way, as long as nobody is seeing you, like, I think that it's fine. I think that it could be very enjoyable, sometimes even more enjoyable than sex, honestly, because sometimes when you're having sex with someone, you're thinking about all these other things that have nothing to do with the sex. Well, how do I look? How do I smell? Do they like this? Do they like that? Like, when you're masturbating, you're not thinking about nobody but yourself, okay? You're thinking about pleasing yourself. You're thinking about getting in touch with yourself. You're thinking about what you like. There's no outside pressure at all. It's your pace, your vibe, your toy, like however you like to have it. It's kind of like Burger King. Have it your way, boo-boo. One of the negative things about masturbating, and I wouldn't even say it's about masturbating, it's just about your frequency of masturbation. You could get addicted to masturbating. And no addictions are good. Too much of anything is not a good thing. So, I can understand, like, when you first start masturbating, being obsessed with it and wanting to explore and feel that feeling over and over again. But if you're starting to neglect, like, daily chores and you're calling out of work, or you find yourself doing it at work, like, you might have a problem and you might need to cut back. You might have a problem and you might have to cut back. Masturbating should not take up like 100% of your thought process and be all that you think about, and I feel that same way about sex. Sex should not be everything that you think about all the time. Too much of anything is a bad thing. So, I think sometimes when we as people first learn things about ourselves, we have a tendency to get obsessive about those things, especially if we enjoy them. But, just keep things in perspective and realize that there's still a world out here. There's still life going on. You still have family. You still have friends. You still have human interactions that you have to have. You still have responsibilities that you have. So keep that in mind before you masturbate your life away, because it's very easy to do. I will also say, ladies out there, if you're using a vibrator to masturbate, you need to be careful with that too. Not because you could hurt yourself. I mean, you could hurt yourself. You could get rug burn down there, the same way you get from rubbing something for too long. Like, you can definitely get irritation, rug burn, BV. Like, you can get a lot of things from masturbating too much, especially with toys, vibrators. So be careful of that. But also realize that if you're using these giant dildos or whatever to masturbate, please keep in mind that 9 out of 10 guys is not that size. And if you're constantly masturbating with a 12-inch dildo and a vibrator and all that, when you go to have sex with someone, you might be desensitized, or what is that word? Not disappointed, or underwhelmed by them, And I have found that I have that issue too. Not so much the size of the dildo, but because I have this vast knowledge of BDSM and like the things that I like and how to rig myself and do all these things to myself, my masturbation is like on steroids. So, having sex for me can sometimes be disappointing or underwhelming for me because I go so hard by myself. You can't expect the person that you have sex with to be able to please you the way you could please yourself. And that's how it's supposed to be. Nobody should be able to please you better than you. But you also can't hold whoever you're having sex with to the standard of what you give to yourself, okay? Especially if you giving yourself what I give myself, because what I give myself, girl, not too many people gonna live up to that, okay? But what I will say is, because I know myself sexually and I masturbate and I play with myself and I, enjoy myself, it's very easy for me to express to somebody else what I like and tell them how to do things the way I like it. So, if you don't know what you like, it's like y'all figuring out together. For me, I know what I like, I know what I don't like, and I can tell you in the process, before the process, after the process, whatever. We can have open conversation about it. The first time you have sex with somebody, it's not going to be good most of the time. It could be okay, but it's not going to be like mind-blowing the first time, unless y'all just energetically vibe like that. I've had that happen. But don't hold people to the same standard that you hold to your masturbation, because they'll never be able to match that. Now, something else I heard that's a benefit to masturbation is that it relieves menstrual cramps. Me personally, I ain't trying to touch all down there during that time, okay? When I'm going through my menstrual cycle, I'm more of a cuddler. I want to eat ice cream. I want you to rub my feet. Like, I'm not really sexual at all. I'm more like a big ass baby when I'm on my menstrual. But for those of you women who are super horny on your menstrual, masturbating can help with your cramps and also help to alleviate heavy blood flow. So for those of y'all that like that, that's a plus too. I've learned that masturbating lowers your risk for prostate cancer. So fellas, just know that every time you're rubbing one out, you're cutting your chances of cancer down. So that's a plus. Next time somebody complains about you jacking, let them know I'm cutting down on cancer, okay? So in conclusion, what I will say is masturbation is a healthy, positive thing. It's very beneficial, and really the only possible side effects that you can get from it is becoming addicted or possibly getting rug burn on your stuff because you're doing too much. That's really only the two negatives I can take away from it. So if you haven't explored yourself, if you've been curious about exploring yourself, do it. It's only going to add to you, and honestly, nobody will know but you. You do it in the privacy of your own home. Nobody's going to ask you what you're doing. You can have a whole arsenal of toys to satisfy yourself, and nobody will know. You don't have to go around feeling ashamed, having negative feelings. It's your body, it's your exploration, and you owe it to yourself to learn yourself. So, happy self-exploration. Rub one out for me. Hey, yo. Thanks for watching. My contact information is below. Please go like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Your support is always appreciated. But if you want to show that support with them dollars, though, throw your girl a CashApp, you feel me? Until we meet again, smooches.